Hello again. Today we're coming at you live again for another video review. This time we have a three-way kind of showdown going on here. Up top here we have the GC2, the good old standard system that we have here. We down below here have his bigger brother, the GC3, and right in the middle we have the newcomer, the IQ2. So we're going to review a few categories, kind of give a general review of which system does what best. So we're going to start with the ease of use, and then we're going to move into quality performance, and we're going to talk a little bit about the cost, the price point, and then we're going to talk about the overall performance. So starting on top, the ease of use, each panel is actually extremely simple to use on a basic level. Arming systems are just right there on top. You hit your arm, and there you go, you armed your system. Alright, same thing here, arm, same thing up here. Arm the system.
Arming stay.
Very straightforward. Disarming is just as easy, just hit disarm and type in your code.
System disarmed. Ready to arm.
Here we'll go.
System disarmed. Ready to arm.
So each system is very simple as far as arming, disarming goes. Home automation features, the IQ2 actually is really easy to access. A simple swipe. There's your home automation. On both the GC panels, in order to get to the home automation, we've got to go into we got to go down a few levels. We go to smart home controls, and then we need to pick what we want to control, and then we got to pick the single device that we want to control, and then find our commands go through. Up on the GC2, it's even a little more involved. We got to go to services, we got to pick ZWave, we got to pick what we're controlling, and then we pick what we control from there. On the IQ2, it's just right there on the surface. All the features are immediately available for instant use. So all in all, the IQ2 panel is extremely easy to use, and is probably even the best. There's even a couple other features that these other two panels don't have that even make this one even easier to use. Bluetooth disarming. The panel can be paired up with a smartphone, like an iPhone or an Android, those Samsungs or whatever, and it will automatically disarm the system when somebody comes home. So no one has to sit there and be like pull in and pull out their app, which is extremely convenient to use, or key fob, or even just walk in the house and try to punch in a code. You pull up, system turns itself off. This panel also comes with a couple of another feature here. I briefly looked at it. It's got a little camera on there that will take a picture of whoever turns the panel off. So if somebody walks in and turns their code off, it takes a quick snapshot. If an alarm goes off, it actually kicks into a video and starts taking a video. The panel this thing even has a built-in glass break sensor. So we have all this glass next to me here. If somebody was to punch this glass out, that would set the alarm off as well. So in terms of ease of use, the IQ2 panel is extremely easy to use. Quality of performance, this is a little bit of a toss-up. All in all three of them do a very good job. Looking at user interfaces, the GC3 down here is very, I would call it rich. Everything animates nicely, things fade between the scenes. The IQ2 panel here is very minimal. Everything is just very straightforward, very light, so it comes down to opinion here between the two. The GC2, I mean, it's just the GC2. No animations, very straightforward. You click, it changes, it does its thing. However, between the three of them, sadly the IQ2, in spite of all its features, has one glaring flaw, and that is in the audio features. This at its heart is an Android, and it doesn't hide that fact at all. As a matter of fact, all the system sounds, for example, if we open a door here, these are the door going to chime. That first dee-dee-dee sound was actually the IQ2 panel, which is actually just an Android ringtone. It uses basic Android ringtones for its audio interface, and the overall sounds that it makes are pretty
dining room door?
Pretty straightforward. It just kind of, it doesn't sound good. The worst feature on this, and it was so bad I had to turn it off, is the audio feedback. It will announce and talk to the users, but it sounds robotic. And that's because, again, it's using the Android basic level text-to-speech engine. So what that also does mean, though, and this is a really kind of cool thing, is that it has an unlimited vocabulary. These two panels are limited to whatever's programmed into them. So if we have a user, and somebody has a daughter, and that daughter has a name of Catherine, we can actually program this panel to say Catherine's window, or Catherine's motion, or front, whatever. It will actually say whatever we program into it. These ones are very limited in their vocabularies. Behind the scenes, though, again, IQ2 panel is actually the best. The sensor processing engine just seems to work just a little bit faster. Especially the ZWave is where it really kicks butt. So we come over here to our ZWave settings. We can go ahead and hit select all and turn off. We have some lights just off camera here. It's like they're reacting in real time. They just work. There's no delay or anything. The GC2 by far is the worst. In a very well optimized environment, there's very little delay, but still when we're talking about turning a light on and off or adjusting something in our home, we want the feedback to be pretty much immediate. The GC3 is actually not that bad. It's not quite as fast though as the IQ. The IQ seems to just process and give the commands and talk to things just that much faster. So overall, it's a pretty hard toss-up. The audio feature really kills it for me as my personal opinion, but all in all, it's a pretty good toss-up there. Price-wise, this one's actually a little surprising. These two panels alone by themselves are quite a bit less than the IQ panel, but these two do not come with the communicators. As such, this one has a built-in communicator and a Wi-Fi module, which allows it to communicate via wireless networks as well as cellular. These two don't. After we add the cost of those in, suddenly this guy is actually cheaper than the GC3, and the GC2 up here is only $50 less than the IQ2. And for those $50, you get a bigger screen, you get a better interface, you have much more robust home automation. These two panels have their own line of sensors. They're called the 2 gig sensors. And these are also fully compatible with the wireless Honeywell sensors. This one here has its own sensors, Qualsys or whatever they're called. And it is also fully compatible with the GE or Interlogix panels. So if a user has a Simon system, this system here can take over those sensors. These panels here are better for Honeywell systems, so the Lynxes or the Vistas. All the panels are able to take over hardwired systems. They have what's called a takeover module. As far as installation goes, though, this is where the IQ2 panel really, really struggles. The easiest to install out of all three of these is a GC2. It programs quicker, it's easier to put on the wall, it's easier to just overall use. GC3 is not bad, it's not quite as good in the programming realm. There's a few quirks about it that make the installation just a little bit more difficult, especially when getting into larger scale systems. The IQ panel program's okay, but when it comes down to actually wiring, it has a very, very, very difficult time. It is very picky about the wiring it uses, and it's because it runs on a lower voltage. It's, again, at its heart, an Android tablet. It doesn't hide the fact the power that it's using is actually the same as a USB charger. So if you can imagine, out of the box, the wiring distances is about the maximum of a USB cord, which surprisingly is about 25 feet. It is possible to go further than that, but it requires more expensive wiring to be used, And if there is a retrofit application, say someone has a existing hardwired system, there's a very, very strong chance that the wiring that was used is too small for the IQ panel, and that would need to be replaced and upgraded to better wiring. So overall, it's really a tough decision to make. Truthfully, as an installer, I like the GC2. I think it installs faster, and as a basic system is much more better, but I can't really pick. It really comes down to just personal choice. I really like almost all the features of the IQ2 except the audio interface. Thankfully, that can be disabled, so we're not left with too terrible of that robotic sounding voice feedback. If that is something that the user wants to have on, well, so be it. I would highly recommend against it just because it grates on me terribly. But the GC3 down here, it's a good looking little panel. It does everything very well. It sounds great. It doesn't look awful. And its performance is just slightly behind, but there's just a couple of key little features like the Bluetooth disarming, as well as, oh, here's a feature we didn't really cover. This is a very tiny side note. The IQ2 has a photo frame mode where it can just have pictures. So it'll sit there and be like a little photo frame on the wall. So overall, it comes down to opinion. If I had to choose one of these three to install in my home, in spite of the difficulties and challenges, I would probably go with IQ2. Simply because it looks a little nicer. It's got that photo frame that I just showed, and I can know that like my wife could be able to walk in and not have to worry about kids everywhere and groceries and whatever it is when she comes in with the Bluetooth disarming. If I wanted to put something in that's gonna look nicer in a nicer home, again, it's a toss-up between these two. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please be sure to check out the rest of our reviews and other videos on our YouTube channel.